Sydney.
How you doing?
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Uh, I'm not good
Wait,
because I don't know if you, I know you watched the race. I don't know why you're saying you're good, but not a great day for my McLarens. So, not great. But
no, I'm trying to be optimistic here. It's fine.
in reality, I'm doing pretty good. I gotta maybe knock on wood, someone buying for me for work, which is cool. But knock on wood because that was a long time of a drive and I don't want to do it for nothing. So,
Lovely to hear. I'm glad to hear that.
yes. So, but Formula One wise, not great.
Formula One wise, not doing so hot.
Not doing so hot at all. However, other than the actual crash, the race was actually, from Lando at least, was pretty good. Like he
I would say that
came
it
out
was
of his mind,
overall. I mean, quals were obviously not ideal, but I think overall he's doing the best he could, and I think it was a pretty good run up until.
which it's a topic later because we've got some stuff to talk about with Lando because it's getting a little nerve-wracking. However, I think we should start with some news that came out today. Some pretty interesting news too. We're getting right into it today. There's no real banter, but James Vowles. Williams extension already, and I love it because me
An
and Sydney,
extension.
big Williams supporters outside of McLaren. We
Lovely
love seeing what
you.
they've been doing. Not
Love
the best couple of
you.
races the last couple of weeks. However, it's pretty obvious that James Vowles has turned this team around from what they were, which is kind of hard because or kind of hard to not do, obviously, because Claire Williams was that bad. Not that she was bad, she's awesome, but she was not a good team principal.
Yup.
And they've actually turned everything around. So I think he deserves every second of this, and it kind of shows
I
the
agree. I think it's,
the future.
I was gonna say, I think it's a good outlook for the team. I think it's promising. Honestly, I think it's kind of restoring faith in not only Williams as a team, but also just within each individual of the team itself. I mean, it's kind of hard to be productive and do anything and try to work to win anything with if you're just constantly changing everything. So
It's something I think a team like Alpine can take note of. You kind of just have
I
to
was just
deal with
about to
your one
say,
person and
I
let it
think there's
go.
some people
But
that could definitely take note of this, and I think Williams is putting the right foot forward. I think it's
it's
I
gonna be interesting to see now because they're obviously F1's always changing, right? We see so many changes throughout the year. There's nothing that Williams really seems like they could change now. Like James Vowles is locked in for a considerable amount of time. Signs and Albon you shouldn't be getting rid of.
I don't see them moving at all. I
Like sure,
mean,
Albon has seemed a little aggravated on the radio the last couple of weeks because of the strategy, but like
yeah, but
I
strategy can
don't
always
think
be
that's that big of a
fixed.
deal.
I
Like
was gonna say strategy can always be fixed. I think it's just I don't think there's anything inherently wrong with the car. I don't think there's anything wrong with the team. I just maybe we're just not playing our A game. You know what I mean?
I they did get a little unlucky the last couple of weeks. Of course, last week, first turn on the first lap, or maybe not the first turn, but first lap, Albon's basically jumping the car, and then has a power unit issue again.
Hmm.
He had a similar issue the week before and also had Liam Lawson to deal with, so not great. He's been getting unlucky. Sainz has been kind of getting lucky
Here and there. I think
here
he
and
had a
there.
pretty
Like
rough start to the
he got
season.
in the points last week because of Lando's crash, and then the week before, I believe it was something fairly similar.
Yeah.
But it's interesting to see because Williams as they're showing their new direction that they're going in, right? Like James Vowles is their guy. He's going to be the guy to build his team back up, and if they're going to give him every chance to do this until he shows that he can, which he hasn't yet. So I love this move, and hopefully he keeps it going.
I was gonna
Because
say I'm excited.
a good Williams, the more good teams there are, the happier I will be. Because
I
the
love
more
it.
battles there are, the better. So
I was gonna say, speaking of change as well, I think I sent this to Dylan earlier, but we've got some Red Bull news as
we do have
well.
some Red Bull news, which I was going to bring up next. But Arvid Lindblad, not taking a seat yet, obviously,
Not yet, but
but
testing.
he is testing, which is interesting because he is basically the Red Bull version of Kimi Antonelli.
Europe.
Um, 18 years old, literally wasn't even old enough to get a super license, and they made an exception for him.
Yup.
He's now testing, and it is interesting to see because, of course, there is the rumors of
I
who's in that Red Bull spot next year in the second seat, or
I
even
don't think
RB,
he
right? Like,
knows.
is it going to be? I think it's a pretty fair assumption to think that Yuki and Lawson probably aren't getting the chance at Red Bull second seat next year. Um, I don't know what to
I
think
could
about
see
Hadjar.
maybe I was gonna say I can maybe see Hajar, but
I
I
don't. He
feel
doesn't
like
seem like he wants it.
I wouldn't take it either if I was him, to be honest. Maybe
It's
in a couple years if he's still and they can improve, but I
Well, the answer he gave to that was the perfect answer he probably could have done, right? Like he started it off shaky. Like when he said that he was asked, "Do you want the Red Bull seat?" and he just straight up said no, right? So everyone was like, "That doesn't seem good." But then he went on to explain and was like, "I just completely honest with you, I don't think I can compete with Max, like most people can't, and I think I still have a lot to learn. I'd rather watch guys like Max,
yeah,
watch
I
guys like the top teams and figure out what to do." And I think that's a very respectable answer. Like
agree.
he's being successful with RB. There's no need to push it yet.
No, I
However, you have to think like, what does that leave Arvin Lindblad? Like, I don't think he's going to be a Red Bull second
I
seater
don't
right
either.
away.
I mean, I could very much so see this very much becoming another Liam Lawson. Like I don't know. I guess like
You have to think they would learn from their mistakes this time.
I doubt it. I
I
have zero faith in them
I think the silly season, I keep
learning.
thinking about the silly season episode. I think I'm gonna just put it out there now what I think is gonna happen for Red Bull. This isn't my official silly season episode and predictions, but it's just a thought. I think we're gonna see Hadjar and Lindblad and RB next year, just to kind of give them time to figure stuff out. I think Max obviously is going to get the first seat, and I don't really know who's getting the second seat, honestly. Sydney froze. That's not good. We're back. This
Technical
is I think the first time, and this is now the 13th episode we've had any crazy technical difficulties. So
difficulties.
Sydney's internet, despite, paying
I don't
however much for rent,
I don't
doesn't
know.
work.
That's I blame the weather today. We've had horrible weather today.
Yeah, nice stormy day on the East Coast. It was great. But as I was saying, as I was saying, the silly season predictions, I'm gonna make my just pre-predictions for Red Bull, right? I think we're going to see Arvin Lindblad in RB. I think we're going to see Isaac Hadjar in RB. I don't think Jack or Liam Lawson is going to have a seat next year. And I think Yuki will, but not on Red Bull.
No, he's not performing.
But I don't know who's going to be in the second seat. That's the thing. Like Max is going to be the first seat. I have no idea who's in the second seat
It
at
could be,
all.
it could honestly be a roll of the dice. Like they could pull something way out of left field too, for all we know. Like it could be George Russell.
I don't think it definitely can't be George Russell. They've been
We
talking.
don't know, but also like I can't say I wouldn't be surprised if it's something that far out of like left field. Like I don't know. They
I'm trying to think of just ideas. Like
I that's the thing is I can't even come up with any ideas because I literally am just at a loss of words of their actions that they've done so far this season, as well as just like they're a disaster. Like it's the ship's on fire and it's sinking. Like I
you know what's an interesting one, which I've seen no rumors of this, right? But just based on what I think is going to happen with Audi, Hulkenberg's going to keep his seat, and I think they're going to get another German driver, which means Franco Colapinto's not going to have a seat, right?
I think it's gonna be Mick.
I think Mick will be the Audi. I think you're right there, or it'll
I
be
think
Vettel or someone like that.
yeah.
Colapinto obviously hasn't performed because he's in a really bad car. He's shown flashes of being able to do something. Like
Yeah, I mean he showed it last season as well. I think it's why he's in the
I,
position he's in.
you can't discount him from going to a different seat next year. Like you
No.
can't. Even Colapinto. Colapinto only has one more race on his contract, which should also be another topic of conversation for this week. But
I mean I think I mean, given he's in not the best car, I think he's performed as well as he can per se. And I think based off of what he's shown last season as well, like I think he's a very solid driver. I mean, in a way, he kind of reminds me of Hajar. Like they're very solid drivers. I don't think they're obviously very young in their careers, but I think they're showing lots of promise. And I think they need to be in a position that allows them to develop that talent.
which Red Bull's definitely not the place for that. Let's be
No,
honest
it's
here.
not. I mean,
But
for God's sakes, just you might as well just bring Danny Rick back if that's what like if you're just gonna switch your drivers every 2 hours, like
it's
one
gonna
back
be an
that
interesting one.
people enjoy and miss.
I'm
Like,
gonna say this now because I'm just gonna put this out in the air, right? We're gonna see Max in Red Bull 1, Franco Colapinto in Red Bull 2, Isaac Hadjar in RB, and Arvid Lindblad in RB. And I
I
think Yuki's going to Alpine. That's what my prediction is now. That's gonna change by the time that episode comes out, but that's what we got now.
I just hate to see Franco get screwed.
Franco's gonna get screwed anyway. I don't think he's
I
gonna
but
race after this
I
week.
see because I like Franco. I think he's got promise. It's just like sad to see. I mean, it's not an easy sport. Like it'll chew you up and spit you out, and it has before. So
So while we're on this topic, we're gonna add this topic that we have to talk about because I saw this today. Franco Colapinto supposedly had a 5 race contract when he signed with Alpine for when he replaced Dewey. This next race is race 5. So we have to see if he's even going to be on with Alpine after this week, after this race. Maybe that's a rumor, maybe it isn't, who knows, but like
who else would they do? Who
they
else?
would put Jack Dewey back in.
Why?
Great question. But because I'm curious, let's just look at the results that he's had so far when he's raced, right? In Canada, he qualified top 10, I believe, actually, or it was very close to top 10. Finished 13th. It's an Alpine, you're not really expecting much more, right? Spain, he was 15th. Monaco, he was 13th. Emilia-Romagna, he was 16th. And then Miami was Doohan's last race. So consistently mediocre every single time. I feel like you need more to keep that seat. They did invest a lot in Doohan when they signed him. I feel like they're going to try to give him another shot. I don't know if it's going to be now or next year or whatever it may be, but I don't think they've given up on Doohan yet.
I don't think they should have. I mean, I don't think they should have given up on him that easily to begin with. Like I feel like we've definitely talked about that.
We have
But
times.
like I'm sorry, but if you're gonna sit here and take Franco out again and bring Doohan back, like I have that's that's a joke. Like that's I you have no I don't know. I don't know how to say this respectfully, but like it's just like you're making a fool of yourself at that point in time.
Alpine's already made a fool of themselves enough, though. Like, I don't
But
think
like at least have
anything
some
now.
sense of dignity. Like at least stick it out. Like you already committed to something. Like
Let's
it's
just think about the times that Alpine has made a fool of themselves. They signed Oscar Piastri without signing Oscar Piastri. They cut Esteban Ocon with a race left. They cut Doohan after 4 races, and now might do the same to Franco. Like it's Alpine. I'm just kind of used to it. Not to mention their former team principal may or may not be an international criminal now. We don't know that, so
I just like ugh.
it's fun. Alpine's always fun to talk about. So we'll talk about that one after next race too, because we'll get an
I'm
answer on
sure
what
I
Franco
was
does.
gonna say I'm sure we'll hear more like noise about it, but I
Yeah.
don't know. It's just like, dude, you're literally becoming you're becoming the laughing stock of F1. Like you're topping Lance Stroll right now.
Which is another interesting topic, but we don't really have anything to talk about with that because he apparently unfollowed F1 today and F1 unfollowed him. So who knows what that means, but who cares at the same time. So
Yeah.
anyway, moving on. It's time to talk Canada because the race wasn't crazy by any means. The race wasn't great until the very end, in which case, on to the detriment of some, led to some issues, as we saw. But qualifying is where it started because, again, in Canada, George Russell best Max Verstappen on to pole with Kimi Antonelli in fourth. Oscar was third, but Kimi was in fourth. Lando Norris qualified P7, I believe. Not great at all.
It was literally P7. It was horrible.
It was horrible. And we have to start talking about it because Lando cannot perform under pressure. He just physically can't do it right now.
And I hate to say it. I genuinely do hate to say it, but it's just like I-
Well, you think about the races that he's won, right? He won the first race of the year, right? He's coming off the momentum of basically winning the last 3 or 4 races of the end of last year. So he was
Yeah.
riding high. Didn't win again until Monaco. And the only reason he won Monaco is because he qualified first. Charles was running him down. So it's interesting because you won a championship fight, but like you do stuff like you did this weekend, and suddenly Oscar's pulling away.
Dude, it's just like I hate to say it, and I don't want to say it, but it's like I think again, like Oscar's just continuing to prove that he's the better driver, the better performer. He's got it down to pat.
And I will say, I'm going to steal this from F1, average F1 consumer, the one that I show you every once in a while, right? So shout out to him. He's cool. But he brought up a pretty good point. Maybe not a good point, but just a good food for thought. If Lando loses this next race to Oscar, this championship's probably over. Like,
easily.
we're already at like a 20-point deficit now. He would be at 20, what, 27 at minimum at that point. It
Uh,
just seems a little not doable. I think
and
he's
well,
closer to max now.
I was gonna say, especially if he keeps performing the way that he does, like it's just I don't know. I mean, there's still a lot of the season left, but like if nothing changes and Oscar keeps performing the way that Oscar's performing and Lando keeps performing the way that he's performing, I 1000% agree. This championship is over.
Lando is currently closer to Max in third than he is in
Yeah,
Toss.
it's
He
over.
is 22 points behind Oscar in first, and he is only 21 points up on Max. So, and you also quietly have George Russell coming into the fold now too, which is hilarious, by the way. But
Yeah,
moving on to the race,
wow.
of course, nothing really happened. Like Albon's car went flying at the
I was
beginning of
gonna
the
say it
race,
was a
like
pretty boring race. It didn't
pretty
bring
boring. He
anything.
retired,
I
and
actually got a friend who went to the race. Did I tell you that?
you did tell me that.
Yeah.
I don't remember why Liam Lawson retired, but he retired too. Stroll in his home race was last among the finishers. Hadjar didn't have a great race. Gasly, Bortoleto, like it's a pretty standard bottom tier, right? Like, with the exception of Hadjar, he's never really there.
Yeah, I don't know what happened there.
George Russell led the race, I believe, the entire time, minus like the pit stops and stuff. He was literally winning every single lap of the race.
Yeah.
Max was in second the entire time, couldn't catch him, couldn't get caught, right? I believe Kimi passed him at one point. The big move, besides the actual big move, was Kimi Antonelli passing Oscar on lap one because that ended up being huge because he didn't give it back at all.
It'd be scary.
Kimi's a god. Like he's
Kimmy's
either really good or really bad in every weekend, and it's
I
no in
was
between.
kind of a little nervous for Max there as well.
He passed Max at one point, then Max
I
undercut.
know. I'm a little nervous for Max there for a second.
I was nervous at the end because I think my dad was mentioning this. This was when both McLarens were fighting, and Kimi was like a half a second up the road. We both thought that Kimi was going to get passed by both of them and finish fifth. And then, of course, things happened. But Kimi, driver of the day too, his first podium the day before he took his exams, which was pretty funny. That was also so funny. They had reporters outside of his exams today when he was
Oh
done.
my God.
Hilarious.
That kid is something else.
He literally had a post-exam interview.
That kid is something else. He is, I will confidently say going, if he continues on this path, he's going to be one of the best
I
drivers
agree.
that
And
we
we
have.
saw with Max too. Like Max had his ups and downs when he was young, but just give it time, and that kid's going to be a stud.
Oh yeah.
But fourth place, Oscar didn't have a great race, didn't really have the pace, but McLaren kind of knew that they weren't going to be fast in this.
I which,
So
it's fine. I
don't
don't
hit
think
the alarms yet, right?
I was gonna say I think everything's fine.
Yeah, we'll hope. But fifth place, Charles, nothing really to report. Ferrari was Ferrari as always, right?
Yerp.
Sixth place was Lewis. He was 10 seconds off the lead. He apparently hit a groundhog in the middle of the race, which caused damage to the track,
I saw something
that
about that.
damage to
I had
the
no
car.
idea. I
No
literally
one realized until after, but they apparently hit a groundhog during the race, damaged the car, and then just was so far off the pace, and then was like upset about it at the end after
Well, that was
the
like,
race, which is
have
like
you ever seen
obviously
the
very cool.
video of Gasly annihilating that rabbit?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the animals have been having it rough the last couple of weeks, but he still finished sixth, was the best of, or the worst of the best, but better than everyone else. No one was past him. Alonso seventh. It's looking a lot better lately.
I love
Nico
it.
Hulkenberg eighth.
I would love to see Alonso on a podium one more time. That'd be awesome.
Nico Hulkenberg eighth, which was fun. Esti Besti in the points and Carlos Sainz in the points. The big one. There's someone notable that we didn't mention in that top 10. Someone that we've talked about a couple times today, and someone that we really like a lot.
Oh God, I don't want to talk about it.
Mr. Lando Norris. Again, we just talked about it, how he can't drive under pressure. Was driving the race of his life, by the way. Like he was flying. Started from seventh, made it all the way up to fifth, which doesn't sound like much, but he also had to catch Oscar in the process, right?
Yeah.
Catches up to Oscar, is behind him a couple laps. Couldn't get a move done. The DRS straight on the main straight is it's a small straight, right? So like there's not really that much time to pass. You would have to do it on the
No.
back straight. Makes an unbelievable move going into the final turn or the second to last turn before the DRS zone. Oscar gets DRS back, takes the lead back. They both had DRS there because Kimmy was right in front of him. So another thing to talk about. Oscar finally Oscar has to brake late, so he's off this line. Lando breaks a little early to try to get the best exit off, and does, right? He is catching him. The issue with Canada is you can't make passes on the inside.
No,
You
you
can't do
can't.
it.
I
You
don't
can't do
know.
it.
I don't know what.
He
Yeah.
had room on the outside to go and try to do it. He didn't. He tried to go on the inside, immediately hits the grass, gets his wing under
Yeah,
Oscar's car,
I was like, what?
and unfortunately for him, there's a wall on that side because that's where the pits are. Crashes his car, destroys the tires, destroys the suspension, out of the race.
Obliterated,
He
gone.
is so unbelievably lucky. Not for the points, because obviously for his sake in the championship points, he probably wishes Oscar was out of that race too. But for the sake of not getting ripped apart by your team, Oscar kept going, didn't have any
I
crazy
mean,
damage, was able to pit under safety car, so he was fine. And then the race finishes under
I
safety
was
car.
gonna say, I mean, I'll give it, I mean, there's all what's I forget what that one quote is. It's like you're not an actual race car driver if you don't go for the gap that doesn't exist.
But Lando Norris went for a gap that didn't exist.
You gotta at least he tried, right? Obviously, it didn't work out, and
Well,
anybody.
it's the center quote is you are no longer a racing driver if you go for a gap that exists, right? The gap has to exist for you to go for it. The memes
So
going on right now, Orlando went for a gap that wasn't there.
literally didn't exist.
Like
So, but like I'll give him credit because I think immediately after he crashed on the radio, he was like,
he took
"That was
credit for it. Like it
yeah,
was
it's
he
like
took
that was
responsibility.
stupid. I'm so sorry, guys. My bad." Like,
And he got desperate, which like
I
I've
get it.
said
I
it
mean,
before, I'll say it again. Oscar's not driving dirty by any means,
no, 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 no.
but he is
No.
also driving like it's a normal person, right? Like it's your teammate. You have to be a little more relaxed with it, right?
I
Like,
don't I don't know what Oscar would have done different to
no, there's nothing for him
I
to
was
do
gonna say
differently.
that, like there
Like,
was nothing that could have changed other than Lando not going on the inside or just not even attempting to pass.
you can't blame Oscar for it. Probably, I think they just went a little too hard after each other. I think Oscar was defending a little harder than he probably should have, and I think Lando was going harder than he probably should have, right? Like, you can't say that he's defending too hard because, like, your job is to defend. However, it is your teammate, and you want to be careful of stuff like this. You can't really make that excuse at the end of it because Lando did just make a moronic move. But there was also a couple other opportunities Lando could have made a move. Oscar slammed the door on him. He like there's a couple, right? Even like the last race, a couple races ago. I was having this argument. Oscar didn't let Lando by right away. I don't remember which race it was. It was the race that Max won, I think. But he held him up for a couple seconds, right?
You can.
I I don't know. Let me tell you.
I know what you're talking about because I feel like we talked
I
about
believe it was Emilio Romano. I believe it
was
was.
it? It was one of the
Um,
earlier ones.
I could be wrong, but
But remember, yeah.
they got out of the safety car. Max is already ahead. Oscar didn't pit, so he's on worse tires. He holds Lando up before Lando goes past him, but then Lando doesn't have enough time to go get Max.
Mhm.
So I said it that day that Oscar should have just let him go. My friend was arguing like you can't do that because they're in a competition against each other for the driver's championship. I'm like, Sure, they're in like whether you want to admit it or not, Max is involved in this championship, right? Like he's still there.
He's still there. It's not like he's
And
seven.
as a team, you
Right
want
there.
to try to get the most points for the team. I thought they should have let him go that day. This one's a little different because they're actually fighting now. But I think they've got to kind of set some ground rules at McLaren. We've said it before, we'll say it again. It's hard to have two number one drivers. They have two number one drivers, but they've got to make it work, and they're not at the moment. This is the first time it's really come to blows,
I
but
mean, it is. I mean, we've had this discussion and we've always said, like, when are they gonna decide? When are
when
they
is it
gonna
going to
figure
happen?
out who's gonna take this over? Because like you're right, there's two number one drivers sitting here. You can't just pick and choose which weekend you want them to win. Like you got to figure it out, or else Max or I mean George at this point is gonna come up and snag it.
Exactly. But I think they'll figure it out next race. We'll see how it goes. Lando needs a good race, so we'll talk about it next week when we pick. But
From
uh
Vegas.
moving on to something we haven't talked about in a couple weeks, F1 fantasy.
Yes.
Of course, we're talking about it the week that I absolutely just was awful, but I digress. Standings update. Nick is still up close to 300 points
My
on you, a little
my
over
phone's
300
about
points
to
on you.
KO, but I'll get it as much as I can.
But we have Nick in first, Sydney in second, Peter overtook me for third, and I'm in fourth with Zoogs in last. But
Oh, I took a oof.
looking at last week, Nick 103 points, you had 114 points, Peter had 156 points, so good race. Zoogs had 109, and oh my Lord, I had the worst week of F1 fantasy possible. I had a whole 23 points. That was because Lando was in negatives, RB was in negatives, Alex Albon was in negatives. My highest point scorer was Oscar Piastri at 22. Sainz at 13, Hadjar had 1, and Alpine at 11. So
Wow.
not great.
Oh, wow, 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 whoa.
Now for the Family League, I was a lot better. So that was cool. But
I was gonna say I haven't even looked at the Family League.
the
I never
Family League, I'm still in
played
first. I
the
only
F.
had 61 points, but I'm still in first. Tori had 58 last week. You're in third. You had 114.
Yeah, I'm in third in both.
My
Yeah.
dad is in fourth. He had 182 because he had George, so that's good for him. Payne in the Haas, Tori's other team, 133. Then my friend Eddie, then me, the second team, then you, and then my Eddie's other team. So
Yeah.
a lot going on there. We're not making changes to it right now because we have to talk about something next week. So we'll talk
Yeah.
about something.
I don't really even know if I'm I don't we need more news to come in. We need to figure out
I
what
agree.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
feel like I need to make some changes, but
I I don't know
at
yet.
least in the team for the friend league. Now we have to talk about our predictions because our F1 predictions, I'm
Yeah.
not sure how we did actually, so I need
I
to see.
I actually didn't even look at them to be honest.
All right. So for Canada,
Yeah.
in first place, we only have three people doing it. It's me, you, my dad. You got 33% of your predictions correct. So you had actually the least of any of us predict percentage-wise, but you must have done something that got you more points because you have 63 points total. Me and my dad both had 40% correct and 50 points. So that's interesting to see.
Sweet.
In total, my dad's still winning because he has, done it more. I'm in second, you're in third, Tori's in fourth, my aunt's in fifth. It's close.
Oh my God, yeah, I got 63 points.
I'm at 52% total right in my predictions, so I would say that's pretty good. But
This is why. So I got 18 points for George finishing third. So I got partial points on the question one. Question
how do
two, I
you
didn't
see
get.
that? Where do you see that?
I'm looking at the what I picked, the
I don't know.
results.
How do you see it?
I'm on the app. I don't know if the app makes any difference.
My result. Wait,
And
no.
then I got 10 points for picking Hulkenberg for
Oh, that's good.
qualifying higher. And I did double points, so I got 20 on it.
I did the same thing though. I'm confused. So wait, can
And
you start from the beginning, please?
yeah, my phone's at 2%, so if it dies, can't
We'll
get
be
it.
quick. Because
Okay, so
I'm gonna go match for match. I'm gonna tell you what I got in every.
I got 18 on Q1.
On Q, so the podium,
Question one, yeah.
what did you get?
18 for George.
I picked Lando, Oscar, Charles, and none of that happened. So that was a zero. So I'm immediately down.
And then
Question two,
I didn't get any. I put
you put Oscar, I put Lando, I believe. So
yeah.
nothing there.
Q3, I got 20. I put Hulkenberg and got the times two.
I did the same.
Q4, I put no.
I also put no. They
Or
both
wait,
put the
I
Q2. I
put
didn't realize
yes.
that.
I put yes. It was no.
Oh, yeah, I did too. Wait.
We didn't get points on it. I
Oh,
mean,
yeah, because Stroll didn't get in the Q2. Okay,
yeah.
yeah.
Question five, I put Red Bull. It was Ferrari. Didn't get
I
any
put
points.
Ferrari. I got my 10 points there.
Question six, I put Oscar. It was,
Fastest time of the. Who was it? No, it was George. Okay. I put Lando. I'm pretty sure Lando had it at one point.
yeah. Question
Uh,
seven, which I'm so mad about because I feel like I said I can't have faith in SD Bessie.
you
It was
did
SD
say that, which
Bessie.
is shocking because I also put Hadjar. It was SD
Hadjar
Bestie.
apparently had the worst race ever.
Was there a safety car? Unfortunately.
Yes. I got yes. 10 points.
Oh, I got the number of finishers right.
I was off by one. I got
I got
19.
18.
I thought there was 17.
There was 18. Oh,
Lawson, Albon, and Norris all DNF'd. There's only 17.
so why did I get points for this?
I don't know. That doesn't make any sense. Whatever. And then the last one I
That's
got,
really weird. That's.
yeah. Last thing I got 15 was for Mercedes. I don't know how I got so many points. I'm not mad about
Are they saying Lando finished because it was under safety car? I don't know. Like,
it. He instigated the safety car.
that might be what it is, actually. Because the race ended
Yeah.
under.
Oh my
Oh, you
God,
know what it
yeah.
was?
They did. He got 18. They're putting him in as 18, but he
You know
DNF'd.
why? Because his car was on track when everyone passed the uh checkered flag, I guess. That's weird. I don't like that.
It's yeah, I've got three DNFs, but Lando's got a place.
That's weird. I'm looking that up. Why did
That's strange. Why do they do
the
that?
pass?
Wait, why is that? That doesn't make any sense.
Oh,
Why is that a thing?
so time penalties for the drivers that fail to finish the race are usually covered in the grid penalties for the next race. But because Lando completed over 90% of the Canadian Grand Prix, he was officially classified in the results. So because he finished out.
Oh, because I mean, it was what, like 2 or 3 laps before the end?
Yeah. So Lando was classified as a finisher in the 2024 Canadian Grand Prix despite retiring from the race because he completed over 90% of the race distance. That means 2025. But if you complete 90%, apparently you're a finisher. I didn't know that.
I didn't either. The more
You
you
learn
know.
something new every day.
The more you know. I didn't
That's
know that at
interesting.
all. Damn.
But
Hmm.
hopefully Lando can actually finish next week. So finish 100% of the race. Not great.
Not this weekend, it's next weekend, right?
It is not this weekend, which is unfortunate, but also like I
July. It's in
think
July.
so.
No. Yes. No.
Yes.
The
It
last
is it is the last weekend of June. You are right.
weekend of
I
June.
think. I don't know. I'm not gonna pretend enough. But
Last weekend of June.
I think we've covered everything that we wanted to cover.
Yeah. If you
We're
want to
not
go.
talking about next race yet. What we didn't say, which we kind of said, we're not going to go over our race predictions and overview because no one got anything. So just we'll do it quick. But I had Lando, Oscar, Charles, George, Max, and Yuki to finish last. None of that happened. City had Oscar, Lando, George, Max, Albon with SD Bestie to finish 15th, and none of that happened. So we're not going to talk about it because we're going to just act like it never happened.
Yeah.
So it's still 21-14 me. Hopefully it stays that way.
I think I thought that you got the bonus because I
Well,
think
because Yuki started last because he got his penalty.
yeah,
I was
that's
like,
why I was
I
like, oh my
actually have a
God,
chance here.
Dylan's totally gonna get it. I think that's exactly what I thought. I was like, oh my God, Dylan's totally gonna get the bonus.
Yeah. Didn't happen. Yuki had a great
It's
race.
Albon.
It is what it is, but
Got
I
to
think
love
we
it.
covered it all.
I think we did as well.
So cool. Always plug, subscribe, follow the Instagram.
Like,
We've
follow
gotten a new follower every single week. So
me.
I like it. I
I
think it was
thought
Lawrence
that
last week, actually. So
it
shout.
was. He totally asked me about it.
So Lawrence did follow. So subscribe now, or come join the pod.
Come join the podcast. We love having people on.
Yes, but
Love it.
yeah, subscribe, follow the Instagram, like, comment, share with your friends. We want to go like live in Monaco and do this full time. So
Oh
let's do that.
no.
But in the meantime, we'll see you next week. We're gonna have a little scenic view because Sydney's gonna be in Florida.
We in
So
Florida.
I'm gonna be right here, not moving, in the exact same place I always am. So
In Florida.
we'll see you next week. Thank you for watching.
Thank you.
Goodbye.